Right now, if you have enough money, you don't have to be born into the right passport. You can simply buy one. In one country on this list, an application can be approved in under 60 days, sometimes even a matter of weeks. In another, applicants have waited years, needed a case reviewed personally by senior government officials, and still risked rejection despite offering millions. Some ask for a donation as small as the price of a nice apartment in a mid-sized city. Others want millions of dollars, a full background investigation stretching back decades, and proof you've never so much as had a parking ticket anywhere in the world. This isn't some shady black market operation either. These are official, published government programs, generating billions of dollars for the countries that run them. Today, we're ranking 10 countries currently selling citizenship to the highest bidder, and exactly what it actually costs to buy your way in. These programs are usually called citizenship by investment, and for a few small island nations, the revenue from selling passports makes up a genuinely meaningful slice of the entire national budget, sometimes rivaling tourism as a top income source. 10. Malta. Malta's citizenship program is one of the most expensive in Europe, requiring a substantial direct contribution to the National Development Fund on top of a real estate investment and a mandatory donation to a registered non-governmental organization. Combined, the total cost can run into the hundreds of thousands of euros. But unlike most other programs on this list, Malta hands buyers something almost nowhere else offers: full visa-free access to all 27 countries in the European Union, plus the right to live, work, and study anywhere inside it. Processing typically takes over a year, with a rigorous due diligence check that has reportedly rejected high-profile applicants in the past, including business figures the Maltese government judged too reputationally risky to approve. 9. St. Kitts and Nevis. The original modern citizenship by investment program, running since the early 1980s, making it by a wide margin the oldest passport for sale scheme in the world, predating every other program on this list by at least a decade. A donation to the country's growth fund, originally created to diversify the economy away from a collapsing sugar industry, can secure a passport in as little as 4 to 6 months. There's no requirement to ever visit the islands, no language test, and no interview. Just a background check and a bank transfer. For decades, St. Kitts and Nevis has essentially treated citizenship as one of its largest exports, reportedly accounting for a substantial share of total government revenue in some years. 8. Dominica. One of the more affordable Caribbean options on this list, with a starting contribution that's often less than a mid-range car. It's become especially popular with people seeking visa-free or visa-on-arrival travel to over 100 countries, without ever setting foot on the island itself. Processing can take as little as 3 months, and Dominica has actively marketed the program internationally, at times running promotional pricing periods to attract more applicants during global economic downturns, when demand for a backup passport tends to spike regardless of price. 7. Antigua and Barbuda requires something almost none of the others do. A family must spend at least 5 days physically on the island at some point within 5 years of receiving citizenship. It's a small requirement compared to the investment itself, but it's the only program on this list that asks buyers to actually experience the country they're becoming a citizen of, rather than simply wiring money and waiting for a passport to arrive by courier. Beyond that single visit, the process otherwise mirrors its Caribbean neighbors closely. A donation-based route, fast processing timelines, and broad visa-free travel privileges as the primary selling point in the government's own marketing materials. 6. Turkey. Turkey offers citizenship in exchange for a real estate purchase over a set government-defined threshold, making it one of the few programs on this list where buyers walk away owning something tangible rather than just a donation receipt with no resale value. Processing can move remarkably fast, sometimes within a matter of months, and Turkey's program has attracted a wave of buyers specifically drawn to its strategic position bridging Europe and Asia. Property prices in popular Turkish cities have reportedly shifted noticeably in certain neighborhoods as a direct result of citizenship-driven real estate demand, occasionally sparking local debate about affordability for ordinary residents. 5. Vanuatu. Vanuatu has built a reputation as one of the fastest citizenship programs on Earth, Some applicants have reportedly received a passport in under 2 months, occasionally even weeks, making it the speed leader of this entire list by a significant margin. The country has no personal income tax, no capital gains tax, and no inheritance tax, and its passport offers visa-free access to a surprisingly large number of destinations for such a small Pacific nation. Citizenship-related revenue has, at times, reportedly made up a genuinely significant share of the entire Vanuatu government budget. Funding infrastructure projects the small island economy likely couldn't otherwise afford. 4. Cyprus. Historic, now closed to new applicants. Cyprus once ran one of the most popular European citizenship by investment routes, requiring a substantial real estate or business investment in exchange for a full EU passport. At its peak, it attracted billionaires, professional athletes, and business figures from around the world, all drawn by relatively fast processing and genuine European Union membership benefits. Then international scrutiny over exactly who was buying in, including reports involving individuals with seriously troubling backgrounds, led the Cypriot government to shut the program down entirely in 2020, revoking citizenship from a number of previously approved applicants in the process. It remains the most prominent cautionary tale in this entire industry, frequently cited whenever other countries face similar pressure to close their own programs. 3. Portugal. Golden Visa. Technically a residency by investment route rather than instant citizenship, Portugal's Golden Visa has become one of the most popular backdoor entrances into the European Union precisely because of what happens after. Hold the visa for 5 years, spend minimal time actually in the country, and you can apply for full Portuguese, and by extension, EU, citizenship. Portugal has since tightened the program, removing some real estate investment options entirely after significant public backlash over its effect on local housing prices in Lisbon and Porto, but other investment-based routes into the residency track still remain open to new applicants today. 2. Austria. Austria doesn't advertise a formal published citizenship by investment scheme the way Malta or the Caribbean nations openly do. Instead, its constitution allows citizenship to be granted for extraordinary merit to the Republic, a clause that in practice has occasionally meant extraordinarily large discretionary financial contributions or investments, approved case by case entirely at the government's own discretion. Because there's no published price tag, no formal minimum, and no standard application process, it's widely considered one of the most opaque and exclusive citizenship routes in the world, accessible only to people whose advisors already have the right government connections to even begin the conversation. 1. United States, EB-5 visa. The world's single most sought-after passport has its own investment route, and it's arguably the most consequential program on this entire list. Through the EB-5 visa, a large investment in a U.S. business that creates a minimum number of American jobs can put an applicant on a path to a green card, and eventually, full citizenship. Since its creation in 1990, the program has funneled billions of dollars into American real estate and infrastructure projects, some of which might genuinely never have been built without this specific pool of foreign investment capital. It's proof that even the passport most people are simply born into can, for the right price and the right paperwork, be purchased instead. For most of human history, where you were born decided almost everything about your life. Your rights, your opportunities, your freedom to move across the planet. Today, for the right price, all of that becomes genuinely negotiable, turned into a line item on a government price sheet, whether that's a sign of a more open, flexible world or a deeply unequal one, probably depends entirely on which side of the price tag you happen to be standing on. Subscribe for more stories about how the ultra-wealthy live by a fundamentally different set of rules than the rest of us.